Hey guys, while my channel might be predominantly focused on music, I also think it's important to discuss and explore the artists who influence the music we know and love. I'm in Baltimore today, and as you may have noticed, one of the city's most famous residents is predominantly featured on our bookshelf. He's my wife's favorite author and one of mine as well. But before we toast to Mr. Poe, I'd like to share with you all the mysteries surrounding his death. Edgar Allan Poe was last seen on October 3rd, 1849, in the Fells Point neighborhood of Baltimore, specifically outside of a pub that you can still visit today, the Horse You Came In On. He was looking out of sorts, to say the least, wearing clothes that weren't his own and babbling incoherently when he was found by a man named Joseph Walker, who took him to a nearby hospital. He never became coherent enough to explain what happened to him and died a few days later, on October 7th, 1849. Without a concrete cause of death, theories ranged wildly, from cholera to something called cooping, a form of voter fraud in which random individuals are captured by election gangs, given alcohol and a change of clothes, and forced to vote multiple times for a particular candidate. Long after his demise, the debate continues. And interestingly enough, Edgar Allan Poe's final resting place wasn't so final. Poe's funeral was held the day after his death, and he was laid to rest in a cheap, handleless, cushionless coffin, without a headstone at this spot in the rear corner of the cemetery. You see, Poe's cousin Nielsen had commissioned a marble headstone for the site, but it was destroyed in a freak train wreck before reaching Baltimore. Instead, after the funeral, Poe's grave was marked only with a small stone reading the number 80. In keeping with the mystery, it's not entirely clear what the number refers to. Over 15 years after his death, enough funds were raised to give this poet the monument he deserved. After trouble locating Poe's body, after the cemetery's headstones had for some reason been changed around, in 1875, he was relocated to the front of the cemetery beneath this beautiful monument, which unfortunately bears the wrong birth date. But at least he finally had a monument, right? About 10 years later, the remains of his beloved wife Virginia were relocated to the same site to rest together for eternity. But that's not the end of the story. For over 70 years, a mysterious figure only known as the Poe Toaster visits this site every year on Edgar Allan Poe's birthday. Every year on Poe's birthday, January 19th, a figure in an all-black outfit with a white scarf and hat would leave 3 red roses and a bottle of cognac on Poe's grave. It's said that he visited the grave beginning in the 1930s or 40s and continued through the 1990s, when a note left behind indicated the torch had been passed, perhaps to a family member. The visits continued for about a decade, but the last sighting of the Poe Toaster was in 2009. Though no one has seen the toaster since, we would like to take this opportunity to raise a glass to Mr. Poe, for all the people he inspired, and for keeping us hooked on his mysteries long after his death.